class. Today we're going to learn about negative exponents. What do? Let's give it a try. All right, we have 3 to the negative second power. What does that actually mean? Technically, what it means is we need to put 1 over 3 to the second power, because when you move it to the denominator, it now becomes a positive exponent. And once you do that, you just go ahead and do 1 over, what is 3 to the second power? 3 times 3 is 9. So there's your answer. Let's try number 2 here. 5 to the negative third power. So in order to change the exponent to positive, we simply move it to the denominator. Oops, that's not negative anymore. It's positive, isn't it? So what's 5 to the third power? We have 1 over 5 times 5 is 25. Times another 5 is 125. There we go. Try this one. Pause your video and see what you get. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. You should have placed 1 over 4 to the second power, which means your final answer is 1 over 16, because 4 times 4 is 16. All right, let's take a look at another type of question that's still working with negative exponents. Take a look here. 1/5 to the negative second power. Okay, so we put 1 over 1/5 to the second power. 1 over, and this of course is 1 over 125. If you divide by a fraction, technically you have to multiply by the reciprocal. So let's write this as a division problem. 1 divide by 1 over 25. So that's the same thing as 1 times 25 over 1. Remember that little trick from 5th grade? Keep, change, flip? I'm sorry, keep. We're going to change it and flip it. So keep, changed it to multiplication and flipped it. And so basically we have 1 times 25 over 1. 1 times anything is still the same number, so your answer is 25. All right, so if you ever get a fraction like this and you have to bring it down to the denominator, and then basically you have a division problem. 1 divide by, oops, let me go down here. 1 divide by 1/25. 1 divide by 1/25. So then never divide by fractions. You have to multiply by the reciprocal. So 1 times 25 over 1, and you get a 25. Let's see an example here. If you have 0 to the negative 5th power, you need to understand that that is say 1 over 0 to the 5th power. Is that possible to divide by 0? Never. So the answer is undefined. Let me give you one more example here. What if I have, for example, like 5 to the 0 power? Let me remind you, in case you haven't heard this before, any number to the 0 power, the answer is 1. If I have 6 to the 0 power, my answer is 1. If I have negative 900 to the 0 power, my answer is 1. All right, let's take a look at another picture here. Here we go, guided practice. That means you guys get to try it out. Pause your video and try these 4 questions. All right, let's take a look and see how you did. Anything to the 0 power is 1. And we have to bring this into the denominator, and you would get 1 over 64. Now look what happens here. This was interesting. If you have 2 to the negative third power, you have to bring it to the numerator to change it to positive. So your answer is 8. Let me make sure you understand that more clearly, just in case. We would take this since it has a negative exponent and bring it up. So we now have 2 to the third power to make this exponent positive. 2 to the third power, of course, we have 2 times 2 times 2, which is our 8. That's where they got that 8. And once again, we have something to the 0 power. What's our answer to the 0 power? Every time, it's 1. All right. Here's some more work with negative exponents. We have the same base here, and technically we're multiplying, so we should go ahead and add our exponents. Negative 4 plus a 4. Well, negative 4 plus a 4, well, that's 0. 6 to the 0 power, anything to the 0 power is 1. Let's try this one. Notice we have the parenthesis, so we have to do 2 times negative 2, which is our negative 4. So now we have 4 to the negative 4th. We will never leave negative exponents in our answers. So we need to bring this to the denominator. So 1 divided by 4 to the 4th power. What is 4 to the 4th power? You have to do 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. It's 256. All right. Oops, I think I went too far. Oh, let's see. Here you go. Guided practice for you guys to try. Pause your video, give it a try. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. Did you bring this to the numerator? And so you get 64. Now these, a negative times a negative makes a positive. So this is actually 5 to the 4th power. Oh, sorry, 3rd power. I'm multiplying. So 5 to the 3rd power, which is 125. These both have the same exact base, so we can write it as negative 3. Let me grab my little pencil, make sure you understand that. Negative 3, 5 plus a negative 5, because we're supposed to add our exponents. 5 plus negative 5, well, isn't that 0? So we have basically negative 3 to the 0 power. What is our answer for that? Obviously, yeah, simple 1. On this one, we're supposed to do, this one is the one that complicates or is confusing for some kids. We have 6 to the negative 2nd power on top, and we're supposed to subtract the bottom, right? Look what happens here. Negative 2, negative 2. Shouldn't that be 6 to the negative 4th? Oops, because I'm adding those little negative 2's together. Well, that means I have to bring it down to the denominator to make it a positive exponent. Now, 1 over 6 to the 4th. So we basically have to do 1 over, and of course make you 6 times 6 times 6 times 6, which is a really large number. And your answer is 1 over 1,296. All right. Here we go. Simplify this expression. Write your answer using only positive exponents. All right, so everything in here has to be raised to the 3rd power. So 2 to the 3rd power, x to the 3rd power, y to the negative 5 to the 3rd power. Well, 2 times 2 times 2, that's 8. X to the 3rd power. And then we have this y to the negative 15th. If it has a negative, we need to bring it down below. So that's why they wrote 8x to the 3rd power and bring the y to the 15th below to make it a positive exponent. And that's your answer. Easy enough? All right. Here's another question, a little bit more complicated. We're going to go ahead and notice how this whole expression is raised to the, let me get a pencil out. This whole expression here is raised to the negative 2nd power. So we bring this whole expression down to make it a positive exponent of 2. Leave the y to the 5th, because it's positive. Everything is positive down here, so we leave it in the denominator. Now we look at combining any terms that might be alike or multiplying things that have the same base. Okay, we have x to the 2nd, x to the 2nd, so we have x to the 4th. Y to the 2nd stays the same. And notice here our numbers. We have to go ahead and multiply our numbers. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Now we're almost there. Everything looks positive for our exponents. See this negative sign? Technically it goes out into the middle because it could be applied to either one. Uh-oh, wait a minute, I forgot. My mistake. Y to the 5th, y to the 2nd. They have the exact same base. So what did they do? They took 5 minus 2 and got y to the 3rd. All right. Click. Try this one out on your own. Remember that negative 3 only belongs to this y. It doesn't belong to the whole thing because there's not a parenthesis around it. All right, pause your video, give it a try. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. We have to, oops, I'm so sorry. Let me see if I can move this over. And we get 1 over 3x to the 2nd, y to the 4th. You're like, how in the world did they get that? Let's walk you through it just in case you're confused on it. We have 3 over 9. Well, that's 3/9. That can simplify to 1/3. X over x. So we have x to the 1st minus 3. So x to the, we have 1 minus 3. What's 1 minus 3? That's 2, right? And that's actually negative 2. So when we work on our x's, we get a negative 2. So we have to write it down below to make it positive. And then you have y to the negative 3. So you have y to the negative 3, and that's a 1 down there. So minus 1 makes it y to the negative 4. If you have y to the negative 4, let's bring that down below so that it can be a positive 4. So that's why it's y to the 4th. They threw a complicated one in for your guided practice. I apologize for that. All right, so let's make sure you understand this. 3/9 simplifies to the 1/3. X to the 1st minus the 3. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So if you get x to the negative second power for that, you have to bring it down below to make it positive. And then the y's, we have negative 3 minus a 1, because there's always a 1 technically right here, okay? And when you take a look at that, you get negative 4. So why the negative 4? So we have to make it positive, so we brought it down to the denominator. All right. I think that's it for tonight, and I really appreciate your hard work. See you tomorrow.